In this video, we will be factoring trinomials of the form ax squared plus bx plus c using a greatest common factor and decomposition. Let's factor a trinomial with a combination of techniques. Let's factor 12x squared subtract 104x subtract 36. The three terms in the trinomial are 12x squared, negative 104x, and negative 36. 12x squared can be factored as 2 times 2 times 3 times x times x. Negative 104x can be factored as negative 2 times 2 times 2 times 13 times x. Negative 36 can be factored as negative 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. The greatest common factor is 2 times 2, which is 4. We place this trinomial 4 in front of a set of brackets, and the trinomial in the set of brackets is 3x squared subtract 26x subtract 9. But the trinomial in the brackets can be factored further. Let's look more closely at the trinomial inside the set of brackets. The product of the coefficient of x squared a and the constant term c is 3 times negative 9, which is negative 27. Write the middle term, negative 26x, as the sum of two terms whose coefficients have a product of negative 27. Let's look at some factor pairs. We know we will need a product of negative 27. What we need to see is a sum of negative 26. This factor pair leads to a sum of negative 26, and we have a winner right away. We could have tried this factor pair as well, but this would have gave us 26. The two coefficients are 1 and negative 27, so we write the trinomial as 4 at side of 3x squared plus 1x subtract 27x subtract 9. Notice how we paired up the negative 27x with the negative 9. Let's continue with decomposition. 3x squared plus 1x subtract 27x subtract 9 is equivalent to 3x squared subtract 26x subtract 9. Remove a common factor from the first pair of terms. Here's x outside of 3x plus 1. Do the same for the second pair of terms. Remove a negative 9 outside of 3x plus 1. Here's our common binomial factor of 3x plus 1. We can now write our common binomial factor first. Your second binomial is made up of what's left outside, the x subtract 9. Therefore, 12x squared subtract 104x subtract 36 can be written as 4 outside of 3x squared subtract 26x subtract 9, which is equal to 4 outside of 3x plus 1 times x subtract 9. And we're done. Here's a second example. Fully factor negative 6h cubed subtract 3h squared plus 3h. The GCF of 6h cubed, 3h squared, and 3h is 3h. If the leading term is negative, include the negative with the greatest common factor. So we get negative 3h outside of 2h squared plus h subtract 1. Look at the trinomial inside the set of brackets, and we'll use decomposition. The product AC is 2 times negative 1 or negative 2. The sum B is 1. Let's look at some factor pairs. Let's look at the factors of negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, but this gives us a sum of negative 1, which is no good. Let's reverse the signs. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 plus 2 equals 1, which is our winner. The two coefficients are negative 1 and 2. So now we write the trinomial as negative 3h, the greatest common factor, outside of 2h squared plus 2h subtract h subtract 1. From the first group we can extract the common factor of 2h, leaving us with 2h outside of h plus 1. From the second pair we can extract the common factor of a negative 1. So now our common factor is h plus 1, but our second factor will be the 2h subtract 1. We have negative 3h outside of 2h subtract 1 times h plus 1. Here's some practice. You may wish to hit the pause button here and try this one all on your own. Factor fully 10y squared plus 45y subtract 90. The greatest common factor of 10, 45, and 90 is 5. There's no need to consider a negative here because 10y squared has a leading coefficient of 10. That's positive. So we're going to factor a 5 outside, leaving us with a trinomial 2y squared plus 9y subtract 18. For the trinomial inside the set of brackets, we will use decomposition. The product, which is AC, is 2 times negative 18, giving us negative 36. The sum, which is the b value, is 9. What two numbers multiply to give us negative 36, yet add to give us 9? The two numbers are 12 and negative 3. So we include our 5, and we now rewrite the trinomial as 2y squared plus 12y subtract 3y subtract 18. For the first group, we factor out a 2y. So 2y outside of a y plus 6. For the second group, let's factor out a negative 3. That gives us an identical y plus 6. This is the goal. So our common binomial factor is y plus 6. We have a 5, our common binomial factor of y plus 6, and here's where our second factor comes from. 2y subtract 3. And we're done. Please proceed to the next video in this lesson, and thank you for viewing.